Well, hey, we're back with an episode 5. I'm calling it Epilogue, part 5. I thought I was done with this, but if you remember, when I did part 4, I told you I had ordered some new pickups from AliExpress. Well, between the time I had done that and they were received just a few days ago, we had this postal strike for a whole month in Canada. Luckily, that postal strike was about the length of time it actually takes parts to come from China. It takes a couple of weeks to get out of China. Then it takes about another week to come, and then about another 2 weeks in processing here. So we end up with about 5. And the week after the postal strike, the pickups showed up. In the meantime, I ordered a new neck pickup from Temu. I may have mentioned that. So the pickup that's in here now is a 7.54K wound pickup, as opposed to the 11.3 that was in the neck, which was extremely dark and muddy. This one is also very dark. This is the original pickup that's in here now. So I've got original with the TV Jones style from Temu, which was an improvement, but still not good enough. And I am recording the bridge and the neck with what's in here now in Audacity so we can see the waveforms. And I'll show you at the end, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these pickups and I'm going to put in the full set that I got off of AliExpress, which again is a 9 point something. I'll mention it to you, 9 point something and a 7 point something. So a little bit of a different balance. So are we on? There we go. So I'm also going to put up on the screen what my amp setting is. No pedals. So 65 Deluxe, built-in stomp box, overdrive settings, the yellow box on the screen. And this is what the bridge sounds like now. And with effects, you can change it to pretty much anything you want. And here's the bridge. So the bridge is a little bit more output at the moment, and it's probably because of the height of the pickup. Now the inside of the cavity here is still a little bit tight on the bridge pickup. It will not bounce on the springs on this side that I put in there like that one does on both sides. This side a little bit, but this cavity is still a little bit too tight. I'll see what it's like with the new pickups, and I may have to just scarf that out a little bit more, as this one worked okay. Alright, so I'll be going off to bench 2, and we're going to open up this control panel. I'm going to have to demount the neck again to be able to get to these pickups out of there under the strings. Then put all that back on, and so I want to keep everything that way it is. We're going to use exactly the same settings on the amplifier, and then we're going to put the two waveforms side by side between the set of pickups that are here and the set of pickups that I'm going to put in without filters initially to see what they're like. Okay, so stand by for the next segment. Okay, we're at 2. And the first thing we need to do is loosen up all these strings enough that I can get the neck off. This is where I often break the high E string when I loosen it up too far, or as far as I need it. High E string doesn't like too many ups and downs. I can't remember if I've already broken one on here or not. Alright, we need the capo, which is missing. And the capo is not on my bench. And that's because I was working on another guitar that I had to take the neck off of. And I brought it over to the other bench because I had work to do on it. Is that loose enough? It should be. We're just going to give it a few more turns anyway. And pull under the capo. Oh, and I want to keep these wires together with a tie so they don't get all wrangly on me. All right. First, break the seal. And then we can whip it out. I need glasses. Elvis Pretzel saw one of my videos and he saw me drilling these holes from the other side instead of from this side. He says, aren't you supposed to be doing it from this side? And then, haha, he caught me. There's a tiny little bit of chip out around there, but it's covered by the back cover anyway. Alright, this is the first part. Well, we have to move that aside. Can I turn that over? Yes. I might also need to turn it this way. That'll give me more working. These are the new pickups. 7.4K in the neck, 9K in the bridge, and they feel substantial. I'm going to have to move this over a little bit because I'm going to have to take this plate off as well to unsolder. My soldering iron is ready. I said I needed glasses and I still do. I'll probably put the big ones on. To unsolder those pickups. And I put that there because I thought it was going to be needed on the other side, but it's not. It's going to be needed on this side. Okay, now the other thing that happened, which I didn't mention when I was at bench 1, is I was so unhappy still with the sound of the neck. I even used the center tap. This one comes with 4 wires. I even used the center tap to take this down to 3.4 or 5K. Come on. There we go. Full-size pots in here, original. The solder they use in China now is the new stuff, the non-lead. So it's a little bit harder to melt. It's got more tin than lead. And it makes it that much more difficult with heat. And the one thing you don't want to do is overheat components, right? So this is problematic for temperature. Maybe why there's so many weird looking solder joints as well on components. Okay, so those two pickups are now detached. I should have retrieved my schematic as well over here while I was doing it. Yeah, you see that pickup just won't move in that cavity still. So I think I might have a little bit of work. Depends on what that one has to do. So these I'm going to take out by hand. Because that's screwed in the wood now, and I put springs underneath or around the screws as opposed to those idiotic sponge things. They sent sponges in here too, but they also gave me springs with the screws. User's preference. So this one's black with red. Ooh, wee, that is going to be not fun getting in there. I think I have to remove this one first because that wire is holding it. And these have different screws, different screw heads. These are all unbranded pickups. These smaller ones I don't like. They strip much more easily. What did I get with these? The small ones. Okay. Yeah, alright, so if I take the gray one out, oh yes, and I remember now, I had to do a little bit of channeling in there to make myself a little bit more space to get that wire through there. Okay, so heart surgery, again, on Captain America. Let's see what this bridge pickup does in that hole. Some of them are bigger than others. No, I'm still going to have a problem. The original pickups were a little bit smaller. And I had to bend in the edges. So yes, I am going to have to do a little bit of work here on the edge. And I'll just do that. And not try to make too much of a mess, and probably not take up too much video time. The bridge is in the way here to be able to get right to the other corner. I'm gonna be able to do part of it, and then I'll have to just touch it up over there if I need to. Now, because I can't get close enough with that bridge there, and I'm not taking that off, I'm going to go freehand on this side. For some reason, it's fitting in the neck okay, and this is the actual bridge. And it's fitting in there okay. I can make that one work, but this one, no, it's just not. And it seems to be quite a bit narrower than the neck was. So if I can make that one fit, the bridge should fit. And now I'm going to try to take off the meat at the bridge end of this cavity that I couldn't get to. put that cover on. I think I created some scuffs there that I'm going to have to buff out as well. So I've made some work for myself by doing this. And this is a bit jumpy, so I'll have to be really careful by doing this by hand. I'll be back. And there's the good news. It finally fits in the hole. Well, that took me an hour with the guide, and then a lot without the guide, because it's really tricky doing this by freehand. To be careful, for everywhere. Try to keep it even all around the edge. I actually had to take a little bit off the long sides as well, just to give it a little bit more maneuvering room. I didn't have to do that here. This one seems to be wide enough. And before I put all this away, I'm just going to validate that with the neck pickup as well, to make sure it's not out of whack with the other one. Let's see if it'll fit in there. All that wire like that. Oh, it's very, very close. But there's two things I can do. First of all, just kind of bend in that bottom edge a tiny little bit. One edge is sharp and one edge is usually smooth, the way they do these covers. Okay, and then try to take that sharp edge off with a file. You can hear that. It's kind of where the chrome flows down over that edge. And you can start to see the copper underneath. Around these corners that might be a little bit wide as well. So just take that off easily at this angle. Do it at an angle. You don't scratch up the rest of your chrome until it's smooth. Keep checking. Alright, let's see if that helped at all. Oh, it did. Oh, it did. So I don't have to go back after the wood. That is so much better than having to go in there with that Dremel again. Okay, the neck is out. Oh, I didn't want to take that off just yet. And now this one is also the bridge. So, bridge and neck. So now that I've got this like that, I'm going to have to do some buffing, some cleaning. And we were very careful not to chip the edge of the white paint anywhere around there. So that's going to still look pristine. All we got to do is get all that crap off of there and buff it up again where I scuffed it with the with this plastic thing. I should smooth that off maybe. Yeah, I could use a little smoothing as well. I'll run that on some sandpaper. Anyway, I've got some off-camera work to do, and I'll come back. Okay, these white rags used to be my winter bed sheets. Once their life is over doing that, they have a whole new life doing this, making good work on guitars before they end up in the bin. A secondary purpose and life. Okay, that's looking pretty good. You see some there. And then I'm gonna reapply the Meguiar's spray detailer, which makes this feel like glass, and so like icy glass. It's just like slick, slick, slick. Okay, that one's gone. Where's my detailer? Have to do all this before you put it all back together. So yeah, so the Meguiar's Ultimate Quick Wax. That one. This stuff is fantastic to make guitars feel slick. Indeed. Pick it up, spray it on. Put a little bit on the body as well, where there's no components. You get it all on there. Trying to keep crap off the strings. A bit more. Get down this other side. Here's the inside. That's wrapped up, so we'll put that over there and get the outside. And she ought to be beautiful again. She, he, it. Whichever pronoun you like to choose. To me, these are just all my babies. When I put a lot of work into them, they become my babies. Flip it over. Work the surface. There's a little bit of a film left over on this, but not like the compounds. Once you get that off, you're almost there. And then you just need a final clean to give it the last little bit. And you end up with gorgeous results. Gorgeous results. Geez, you'd never think I'd done anything to this. Finally, I got through something where I didn't screw it up too badly. Oh yes, nice. Very nice. Alright, put that away. Okay, so the next step will be getting these things installed. This one's neck, and the neck had to go in first. And let's see, they gave me the small springs, eh? I'll go with the small springs on the neck, and I'll continue to springs, screw heads on the bridge. Tall, because, yeah. I think I'm going to go with the new screws because they're not buggered up as much as those ones are. Nice that they gave the option. It would be nice to know like who made these things. They just say guitar pickup. More TV Jones style humbuckers. They look like Filtertrons, but I think they're just humbuckers in this format with a different cover on them with 12 screws instead of 6 screws and 6 slugs. And here we go with those stupid sponge things. I like to save these little bags. Sometimes they're good for something else. And then these things go straight, you know where. In the bin. Neck. Neck, neck, neck. Okay, I remember I had to put some tape on this before to be able to get it through all the holes. Just a small piece to hold them together and that you don't do any damage to them at all. Okay. Alright, so the wire comes out on this side, and I'm going to make sure that it's on there because the hole is more towards the treble end of this thing. While I was in here, I also deepened the channel where this wire has to compete with the bridge for space. Yeah, and then of course it needs to have springs. Well, we can reuse this now. Try not to be damaging in any way. And these are the new screws. And that goes with this screwdriver bit. Oops. So now, oh yes, I forgot to clean off the edges. I forgot to clean off the edges. There's wax all on the pickups. I noticed that, just like the other ones that came in. We'll clean them all off so that you can get them shiny. I mean, you know, you go to all this work. You want it to be functional and beautiful, right? Functional and beautiful. Why not? Why not? If you can, do it. That wax. Yeah, it gets onto everything. Okay. Screws go straight through. I had, in the original ones, the screws were touching the internal wiring, and I had to take the cover off to fix that up. Okay, now these springs, are they going to go inside there or are they going to sit on the outside? Oh, damn. They go inside the pickup. I don't want that to happen. Okay, I've got other springs that don't do that. Oh, here. I'm going to use these springs that I already chose from before. Yes. Now they won't go inside. The conical ones. Okay, we don't need that anymore. We don't need that anymore. Pull. Now it is trickier putting the screws into these holes and not losing the springs. It is trickier, but not too bad. Not too bad. Try to straighten those screws out. Keep the pickup straight. See if it'll bite. Whoa, we got it. And then the other one. Is it right where it should be? Woohoo! We're batting 1,000. We are batting 1,000. And the pickup is bouncing freely on the springs. Because if you don't have that, then you don't have good adjustment capabilities for the height. Well, that's all dirty now, but we'll just go. Yes, and I did have bigger springs for the other one as well. Not conical, but they will do. All right, let's shove that in the hole there. Up, up, up. Get in. Pull snug. Yes, okay, that's That's better now that that channel's a little bit deeper. More better. Okay. Let's take the wax off of this before I put it on the guitar this time. Cover. Gone. It's always good to take your time, think about what you're doing, think about steps. Sometimes certain things should be done before others and we make mistakes. I still do it. When I'm not thinking about it and pre-planning my work, I still screw up. Because I'm thinking, oh, I've got so much practice, I can just do this off the top of my head. Well, you know what? Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So we want this to be beautiful. The finger marks will not be such a problem, but I think I might just use a piece of that. Get off my hand. It's not that far to go on this one, but yeah, might as well. The technique works, might as well use it. And again, the wire comes out this side, so to the bottom end where it's going to go through that hole. And then what I'm going to do is get a magnet and check to see that these things are actually oppositely set in this configuration. I need U, and I need a magnet, which I thought I had down here, but I think I put back up there. Okay, so let's see how this one responds to this end of the magnet. Okay, that grabs. Okay, let's see. This one's these are humbucker magnets. So that repels and that attracts. Okay. And this attracts and that repels. Okay, they're right. They are correct in that orientation. Saving magnets out of pickups you're tearing apart is useful for all kinds of things. And I had the bigger screws for that bridge pickup, which I think I still prefer because of the holes that are in there already. Okay, come back here. That screw wants to go in there without getting through the pickup. I'm just going to put them through here so it's easier for me to see on this side. The screws are quite long. All right. And the hole for the bottom screw is right in the channel where the wires go. I've got to make sure. It's going to be okay. So if I can get the top one first, and it'll be easier to get the bottom one. This pickup is still really close to the edges. I thought I tested it and it went in. Ah, it did go down. It's just tight along the top. Let's see. Let me find that hole. And that would be the bigger bit screwdriver. Okay, that's going. We don't want to hit any wires. Let's see. Did it find home? Oh, it's biting. It's biting. Okay. I'm going to keep this down so I can let it up after I get this neck back on to where it needs to be. This side probably needs to go down a little bit too. It's a lot easier letting them out than it is trying to get them back down when you get all the strings on it. Okay. Let's hope for the best. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Well, I'm going to have to retrieve my schematic because I don't want to make a mistake, so it's better always to work off your paperwork. I learned that in all the years I worked in the industry. In computers and aviation, always follow your drawing, especially if your drawing is the right one and it's checked. Yeah. So now we have to put these in the right place. I'm not going to do anything with splits at the moment. I am going to leave them open with tape. I'm going to test these as humbuckers. And then I'm going to see, this one's 9, that one's 7. 9, 4.5, right? 4.5 could be a nice option, which means I'd have to change one of these pots, the volume pot, or the, I would probably change the tone pot if I was going to split that. And I'd probably change the volume pot if I was going to split this, but this is 7, so that goes down to 3.5. If it's still a little bit dark, I may choose to run this in split mode like I had done with the one that was in there from Temu and create the balance I'm looking for between these pickups. Alrighty, just going to clean up the back before we go back to bench 1 and listen. But not bench 1, the computer. I'm thinking bench 1 to let the neck tension build up. Okay, I don't want to get my hands sticky. I just wash them again. Use a different rag. Okay. So I got a comment this afternoon on one of the parts of this that it's already played, and it turns out somebody said, that's the French flag. And I looked it up, and it is exactly the French flag. France. Why would they make a guitar for France with the French flag? I don't know. I guess they deserve it as much as anybody else. Okay. Here we go again. I'm just going to put a little bit of, I'm just putting a little bit of tension on the strings. Not full tune. Just getting up close. And then I'll tune it over there with the amp. right, that's close enough. Off we go. All right, we're back at the amplifier. Got an itchy head. And we're live? No, we're not live. Hold on. Is it that? It's not that. I'm dead. I'm dead. Oh, I'm live. Okay. All right, so I've already recorded the traces that I want to show you, but I want you to hear this first. This is the bridge again. Whoa, very nice. The resonant peak is more towards the middle and not all the way at the base end on that bridge. And again, same setup as before, no effects. The neck now I've put the neck pickup down quite a ways. It is dark. I think it's fairly similar to the one that was in there. But the one that was in there I was running in split mode. I am tempted, I left the screws off a little bit here, to go back and put a jumper and try it on and off and see where I like it, and I'm tempted enough that I'm probably going to do it. But it's close enough that and also has a nicer center point than the one that was there. Because this is full humbucker mode. And it's really close to what I had in single mode on the other one. Let me put this down. I'm going to spin you around and show you my screen. Stand by. Alright, so what we're looking at on the screen here, on the left hand side, where the pointer is, over here, this is the original recordings. The upper one here is selected. This one is the original bridge recording. Yes. And this one is the bridge recording now. So the original bridge with the 11 looked like this. And you can see here that the D chord and the A chord are pretty close. The A minor, but here the E chord was kind of flat, and over here it's brighter. You see? So on the right hand side over there we have the new pickups. Then on the bottom, this is the new neck, and this is the old neck. And this is the old neck on the left being run in split mode. So it was really booming, because in split mode it's now still a little bit higher amplitude than this neck that I also have about the same distance away from the strings as it was before. So this is why the neck now is a little bit better than it was on the Temu pickup. So that's what's going on. And I think what I'm going to do, and I probably won't show you this, but I'm going to try the neck in split mode and see what happens to it. But I'm thinking I'm probably just going to keep running it in humbucker, because between the upper trace, which is the bridge, and there, these are fairly well balanced. And when you get in the middle, it sounds pretty nice, because these both half. These two together will, you know, they'll go in parallel. It cuts it in half, so it makes it sound brighter in the middle. And that's just the way things work. It's simple electronics, so it's Ohm's law.